Good morning to, I would say, the entire planet because we're global. We want to say good morning to all the folks in the various time zones around the world, especially nationals and friends of the Federation up there. It's just past 11. It's the 20th day of June, and you're logged on to another episode of Voices, WINNFM 98.9. And my name is Socrates, host of today's feature. Another wonderful Wednesday in paradise. And what can I say, right? We know Rosemary's already logged on. Thank you for doing that. We know Amber, we know Brenda, the regulars, of course, culture. We're in paradise. We're celebrating West Past Music Festival. We're still in hurricane season, but it's another beautiful day in what I call my slice of paradise. We have with us in studio a very special guest, and we're going to dive into his claim to fame in a moment or two, but first we will pause for a few kind words from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
The real Jenna them drink Campari. Link up your girl with the Campari. Day or night with your Campari. Mix the pineapple, you can't run party. Campari, respect the bitter. Must be 18 years or older to drink responsibly.
Flow Road to Home is life made simple. One affordable plan that gives you internet at home and mobile on the go. Constant connection anywhere and everywhere, wherever your plans may take you. Switch today and get double the data on your mobile with 60 gigs plus unlimited WhatsApp and YouTube and 400 megabits per second internet speed. Flow Road to Home internet and mobile plan. Your non-stop connection. Visit a Flow store or discoverflow.co for more info. Conditions apply.
Enjoy the convenience of getting all your documents in one place. At the TDC Copy and Print Center on 4th Street in Basse-Terre, we do just that. We offer document formatting, graphic design, and copy and print services. Our team of professionals truly understand all your needs, whether it be administrative, professional, academic, or personal. You bring it, we deliver it with quality every time. Visit the TDC Copy and Print Center today in the TDC Mall on 4th Street in Basse-Terre or call 465-2511. Your copy and print specialists are waiting to serve you.
Once again, saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening to our various viewers on the various platforms around the globe. You're logged on to another episode of Voices. As I said, my name is Socrates, some say Socrates, and we have in the studios with us this morning a very distinguished gentleman. I'm going to read a bit of his bio, a brief segment of his bio, because it's very extensive, and I think he deserves every distinction that's listed here. So let's start. A technically gifted and talented son of the soil who hails from Keys Village, has risen to the heights in annals of the history of, it's a bit fine print. St. Cazeneve is securing the second highest national award, the Companion of the Star of Merit. Destined for greatness, Mr. Wayland Vaughan, here I call his name, had his formative education at the Basse-Terre Boys School, Basse-Terre Junior High, School of Basse-Terre, let me get this. Basse-Terre Boys School, Basse-Terre Junior High School, and the Basse-Terre High School, respectively. His teaching career commenced at the Basse-Terre Boys School in 1975, 1976. Keon High School in 1976, 1977, and the Sadler's All-Age School from 1977 to 1978. His insatiable appetite for technical education, which consumed him in the late 70s, was born out of the influence of his father, who believed that every young man should learn a skill. This was what propelled him to push back the frontiers in this area of specialty, thus attending the more technical college in St. Lucia and graduating with honors. Noteworthy is that he achieves the archive, there should be archives, of UTEC, UTECH, University of Technology, Jamaica, where he subsequently attended, has documented that Mr. Wayland Vaughan was the only student who graduated with honors in construction technology in the 1986-89 cohort of students. Okay, it's a lot to take in, and there's a whole lot more. But I'm going to pause here and introduce Mr. Vaughan. Well, say once again, welcome. You're no stranger to the studios, but you're hearing voices. And I think in lieu of what happened recently, the investiture, that was about a week ago, and Mr. Dennis Richards, he would have received a similar Star of Merit award, and he's to the forefront of everybody's mind. His work is spread all over the Federation and abroad. Just about everybody knows Dennis. Not everybody knows you, right? But from what I'm seeing here, I know you're popular, but not Dennis is out there at the forefront every day. We'll see him. So we want to have you talk about yourself to some extent, and it's hard for me to do and for others to speak about themselves. But we maybe need to reintroduce you and speak as to why. Not that you achieved, but why you deserved. And you're actually wearing your Star of Merit around your neck. It's a badge of honor. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations. The mic is yours.
Yes, good morning. Let me greet those in Radio Lands, wherever you are. It's really a pleasure to be here with the King himself.
Humble servant.
And to speak with him on the issue of education. And because my award happens to be in the line of education, so I would like to focus more on the education than on myself. I have made a contribution to education, and as a result of that, the government and the country see fit to award me with this Star of Merit. And so when one receives something of this nature, I don't think I can jump around thinking that it's because of me and my ability to teach or to lead got me here. So I want to make sure, give the
persons
who
have nominated you because there's an honor committee.
Not only that, I want to make it clear, King, that I'm a Christian by denomination, right?
Okay.
Or by religion. And so I put everything within that context. My teaching, I was teaching with that Christian background. I want to make sure that that go out forefront. And as a Christian, I adopted the teachings of Jesus as the master teacher. And as I adopted that, his method and techniques, that is what probably had me stand out as to the person I was at that time. I also want to make mention of the Basti High School, where I spend most of my time. Okay? So, but before I go there, I also want to mention the support system that enable you to perform so that you can have or receive an award like which I got. Okay? My parents, in particular, told us upfront, whatever thy hand finds to do it well. And to be honest with you, I never wanted to be a teacher. But as a matter of fact, you will realize I've been to UTEC, which means I graduated in construction technology. So I was supposed to be out there making good money in construction.
So what was the calling to teaching?
Well, to be honest with you, my baptism in construction wasn't very encouraging. After my brother, my elder brother, Reginald Vaughan, most people know him in Nevis. I went to work with him because, our father was into that line.
Okay.
So I went to work with him. But after a couple of weeks, pushing the barrel and the hot sun,
I hear you.
as a young man, just about 19, I said, no, boy, I don't think, if I'm doing construction, maybe it's not this kind.
So Christ didn't direct your path behind the barrel.
Not at all. And
All
so
right.
I did apply for teaching. And because I was late, I didn't get into September of that year. But by January, there was an opening at the Bastille Boys. Okay, thank you. In January of '89.
I remember jump stuck. Every little technical issue with sorting in terms of the position of the mic. Let's see if we bring it a little closer to you. Let's see.
Could this be taken?
I don't think so. Okay, the other technician's coming.
Okay, I think I have it.
You think you have it?
Yes, I think I
But
have
you
it.
push it away from yourself.
No, but in terms of bringing it up.
Because you're technical,
Yeah. Okay, good. That's more like it now, right?
Yeah, a little close.
Okay, good.
Okay, we have sorted that issue in terms of the volume of Mr. Vaughan. So
I hope you're hearing me much clearer.
I'm hearing it clearly, but the signal in the board
Right.
is the issue.
Okay.
Continue.
Okay.
We have a call set? Okay, sorry, go ahead.
So as I was saying, that's why I started teaching
Yes.
in January 1975. And then I was fortunate to get my first baptism into teaching by going back to Bastille.
In 76?
Boys, Bastille Boys in 75. And work along with my mentor, Obadiah Williams.
Quite a reputation, quite a giant of a teacher, yeah.
And so I got my baptism in teaching from him, find out why he did certain things when I was a student. I couldn't understand why he did certain things like those storytelling and so forth and so forth. And he has a saying for everything. And so I was able to learn that, and he's the one who really gave me my introduction into teaching. And since then, I got a love for it.
Okay.
Okay?
But you didn't abandon the technical side of construction because
Oh, well, that's something else, because after I went to Keon High, after I left there, I went to Keon High to teach. I went to teach geography. I was a geography teacher. But being there was a crisis at the school, and they needed a technical teacher.
okay.
And so now, here's it now, since my family and everybody were into the technical field, and I had O-level woodwork and technical drawing at the time.
You applied yourself.
I persuaded Mr. Sidney Osborne at the time. He was the principal. But normally, it was not the policy to allow young people untrained to go into a woodwork shop where there's much danger. So I persuaded him that I think I can do the job. And he was able to persuade the education department. And so I started my stint in technical at the Keon High School.
Interesting. But you were, I just say you were immersed in the background.
Yes.
Okay. And then later on, you pursued studies overseas to improve your technical skills?
Yes, I went to St. Lucia where I did a diploma in industrial arts. And then when on my return, that's when I was sent or was taken, Mr. Osborne, Sidney Osborne again, was moved from Keon to Bastille High. And as soon as I returned, he took me with him.
Okay.
And I was at Bastille High from 1979 until 2006.
That's quite a stretch.
Yeah, just left. I left 86 for Jamaica and came back in 89 and went right back to Bastille High.
Hard question. What impact you think it would have had on the young minds at the school at the time, your students? What was the interaction you had with them?
I have a question I would ask them. Why education? Why do I come to school? And they would tell me, to learn. But I told them, no. You come to school to prepare yourself for life. And so all of the teaching of mathematics and science and whatever is really preparing a child for life. And so that must be my aim.
That was the Socratic method of teaching.
Right.
Philosophical question posed to them, and they would ask one.
Right.
You're talking to Socrates, right? So, yes, they make them probe and examine themselves rather than you provide them with the answer.
Right.
Okay.
So they would understand that I'm going to do some things that are outside of the curriculum.
But this is the aim.
But the aim is to prepare you for life. And that is where I think education ought to be focused.
In preparing you for
life.
What do you say about the policy of having a child pursue some 8, 9, 10 subjects?
There's nothing wrong with that. But if the child knows exactly what he or she wishes to pursue, what career
then
line,
focus.
I would advise that they focus on their career line.
Areas, okay.
And I don't think you need 8 and 20 subjects for that. But it comes a time when a child, maybe at that age, don't know exactly what they want to do. And they would probably down the road would now make up their mind. So they would have the requisite subjects now to pursue their course of final studies. Because
there's a school of thought that sometimes we focus too much on the academia. And the people have skills, they have skill sets that they may not be able to advance academically, and they're viewed as failures. So they're forced to set all these exams, and that's supposed to validate them. But your skill set says, I don't want to be a mathematician or a scientist. I want to be a contractor. You must have math. But then from the technical point of view, that's what their focus should be.
Right. Not only that, one gets the impression that a school only deal with the academics. Let that soak in.
Okay. I was going to respond because in the school I attended, there was the wood workshop.
That's academic still. It's just that it's a skill taught in the school. Mm-hmm. Some people believe that's all. But there's some person who can sing like you.
I was still I couldn't sing.
And there's some who have other talents. They might be good on the football field, good cricketer, and good netballer, good athlete. Kim Collins happened to come to Bastille High.
While you were there?
Yes, at Tiba Harris. Those are. That's why we say Bastille High is the what of champions?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what they say. Because when you look at it, a majority of, besides Washi came in and Sandy Point High, these were the leading schools that produce all sportsmen. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
but Bastille High, over the years, if you could recall, they even play Premier football. Remember it was a grammar school?
Yes, I recall
that came to Bastille High. So they already had a team in the first division, second division, the same thing in football, basketball, netball. When you think of our Governor General now, Dame Marcella and
Yes.
that cohort,
netball.
that group of girls came out of the girls' high school, Bastia High School, which was got its name afterwards. But every time saying it's do well in any sport, look at where the students came from, out of the schools, accustomed to play with each other. So I'm making this point to show that a school must be optimally rounded in presenting this program. And that every child who attends there will benefit from the program in that school.
I'm going to pose a question to you that may prove controversial, but we do at this point have to pause to give credit to sponsors. And when we get back, we'll talk about the discipline of your day as a teacher, as it is directed today in the classrooms. Downtown.
If you need insurance, our service is the best. Home motor insurance can give you more for less. Property insurance can save you a lot of stress. At TDC Insurance Company Limited, we care about your investment. Guarantee you peace of mind. The best team in the business. Guarantee you peace of mind. No other company will guarantee you peace of mind. Together we'll succeed and guarantee you peace of mind.
TDC Insurance Company Limited, where you get more coverage for less.
Magnum, my gun. Everybody put your Magnum in the air now. From you a drink Magnum, let me see. Take charge of things now your place now. From the river to the beach to the street. Must be 18 years and older to drink responsibly.
Flow Road to Home is life made simple. One affordable plan that gives you internet at home and mobile on the go. Constant connection anywhere and everywhere, wherever your plans may take you. Switch today and get double the data on your mobile with 60 gigs plus unlimited WhatsApp and YouTube and 400 megabits per second internet speed. Flow Road to Home internet and mobile plan. Your non-stop connection. Visit a Flow store or discoverflow.co for more info. Conditions apply.
Welcome back and good morning once again. You're logged on to WINNFM 98.9. You're logged on for another episode of Voices. We're in the studio with Mr. Waylon Vaughn. We're speaking about education, basically. He recently received the second highest honor given to nationals, the Order of the Star of Merit. And it was based on mainly on his contribution to education. So we're talking about the policies, how he helped to mold young minds in preparing them for their lives, so to speak. Prior to the break, I posed a question that I think would be controversial in most people's minds. The discipline of yesterday as it is viewed today. I think it's directed today. Back then it was a national effort. The church, the school, and the home was on one page in terms of discipline in preparing our young minds for the next step. Mr. Vaughn, can you weigh in on that, please?
Yeah. Let me tell you, right? Mr. Socrates. Education, which involves teaching and learning, can only take place in a disciplined environment.
Correct.
It's like a tree without sunshine and water and air cannot grow. I told you the function of the school is to prepare a child for life. And one thing a child takes from school into life must be a disciplined mind.
Correct.
Without that, then the police have extra work. So, some form of discipline needs to be administered in the school and in the home. Let's put it the other way around. In the home. And so when they come to us at school, they bring with them a certain level of discipline.
Some people, and I think deliberately so, equates discipline with abuse.
It does happen. It does happen. I'm going to tell you why. My students will let you know I never strap them unless they understand clearly what they did.
That's what my father did, but go ahead.
I'm telling you, you must sit them down and explain to them why, what they did, and
the
what consequence of what they did.
That's exactly what my father did.
Right.
I hated it.
Okay. And it's a long...
I'll tell you why I hated it. My mother would take whatever, plop, 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 and she's done.
Of course.
He would sit me down, give me a long lecture. I'm thinking, cool, verbal warning. They let me stand up. He take up his strap.
Of course.
And then
you're going to get away, right?
So it's ironic. And, well, it's a beautiful thing that you're from the mindset where parenting was parenting in its totality.
Right.
And when it says some people equate discipline with abuse, some deliberately so. Some people do.
But it starts in your home too.
Yes.
Some children, I'm telling you this, because I so happen to have had a good relationship with my students. And so if anything home not going right, Mr. Vaughn knows.
Correct.
And I am not afraid to put them in my vehicle and go
Take
home.
him. That was Mr. Hodge in Sandpoint did. William Hodge.
Go home and deal with it there. So, but what I'm saying here is that our aim at school is to really provide that disciplined environment that would help the teaching, learning process and make it smooth. But we live in a sinful world. And all of our children may not or will not come from the same environment. For what reason, one reason or the other, there are other things that will
influence
impact.
it. Yeah.
Okay? So what you don't want now is two children in a class stopping the other, let's say it's 30 students in a class, right? 3 or 4 hindering the other 27 from learning. Because every time they disrupt,
they distract.
Right, because what teaching is, really, the teacher has some objectives that he or she wishes to accomplish at the end of the class. And there's a certain amount of material that he or she must present to accomplish these objectives. Now, when 2 or 3 students are disrupting the class, they're hindering 27 other students who want to accept that education.
So what do you do?
So they are sent to my office most of the time, and when they're sent to my office, that's something I don't like because they're not in the class to get the instructions from the teacher.
They're missing out.
They're missing out. And to every time they're sent to me for correction, as I said, as you rightly said, they're missing out. So, but we have to find some means,
some medium,
right, where we can have some order in the class. And if these children are coming from homes where they're not taught to behave, then we have a problem.
They may be rebelling for some reason or the other.
That's true.
So there's where the psychology comes in, because if not, they're dismissed as troublemakers. And then they're, so labeled. That follows them throughout their lives.
Of course. But you see, as I said, each child, let's go back to our modus operandi, each child must be prepared for life in school.
And that's your job. And I like that approach.
That's my job.
Because you explain it properly.
Yeah, that's my job.
Properly.
That's my job. And whatever it takes, however long the rope is, I got to reach there and ensure that no child is left behind.
Do you find that approach in yourself as going beyond the call of duty? Because there's some persons who go into do 9 to 5 and that's it, or whatever the school, that's it. They don't really care.
I said to you in my introduction,
The Christian background and following the example of Christ, the master teacher.
leave none behind. And so when you accept the job as a teacher, get this clear. When you accept the job as a teacher, it's a 24/7 job. As a matter of fact, let me tell you this. During Carnival, my student must behave. Because by January morning, when you come back and then the adverse report, you have to explain to me.
That used to happen in the 50s, 60s, 70s. Well, 60s, 70s that I know of. You're talking about in the 80s?
I am telling you, 90s.
80s, 90s. So you're old school.
When they walk down the road in all uniform,
They're
representing
representing you, and their conduct must reflect that.
Okay, I put it this way, Socrates. As long as your name is on my or on all records that you're a student here, hear what I'm saying? You are a student here at Basti High. Wherever you go, you represent us. So whether it's in Carnival or whatever the situation is, or wherever you go to watch a basketball game on the weekend, you are to behave as
Given
a
that
student.
calling, are you
of
still
the
involved? Are you still involved in mentoring young people today?
Of course, I'm still at the Clowns Football Bryan College. That's another story. When I left teaching, I left teaching and I went to NHC to be the general manager for 5 years.
The technical
Right.
side of
And
you,
that's where
you were the
it
GM
was,
there. That's where I think I
right.
first met you some years ago.
Right. And
okay.
so and being there, again, I carry the same approach.
Discipline, same principles.
Yeah, same approach. And it doesn't matter who. You could be a board member or you could just be a sweeper. The ground is level. I don't mess with that. Everybody must understand that there's a certain standard that is accepted here.
Okay.
And you're expected to behave a certain way. But let's get back to the school setting now. At the college, how I got there is that after I retired, my good friend, Dr. Hermie Anthony.
That's when she was there doing her tenure?
Right. She called me because at the time when I was at NHC, she was the PS.
Okay.
So we had a very good relationship. And so she called me. I think somewhere along the line, I did submit an application. But I wasn't so sure if I wanted to fill it after I retired. So
You look like a young man still about retiring. What's going on with that?
But when I did it, I said, because as you know,
You thought you would have made your contribution?
No, I have skills.
Yes.
So I wanted to, my aim was really to open my own private business in construction and put my skills to use.
So you're not pushing the bar anymore?
No. At this time, no, you will be more like an
Accomplished.
administrator.
Yes.
Okay, good. So that was my aim. But then she called me and she told me that there was this program that for 2 or 3 years was there and nobody, they're looking somebody to fill it. At the time, because of my pension and what's not, the college was still under the auspices of the government as part of the government payroll. And so when we calculated, I would only get the difference of my pension.
Oh.
Which would have been just a little short of $1,000.
I will go work with that, but go ahead.
So when she explained that to me, I said, no problem.
Really?
You know what hit me? The young boys who are out there committing all sorts of crimes, I'm now not given an opportunity
To try to reach and address
to
it.
learn a trade and get some skill that they could go out there and work. And I told Dr. Anthony, I'll come and work for the $900 and something
a month.
a month. And I went and
That's commitment.
and I went
Ah,
there.
now I understand where you wear the Star of Merit on your neck.
So I went there and I'm still there. I'm still there pushing the program. Up until June.
So you weren't the average teacher. There are many, many teachers you were singled out for distinction of honor, the Star of Merit, because of all that. So now I'm getting a better understanding why.
But the thing is, though, Socrates, is this. All teachers are expected to have that calling. If the education that we deliver, the quality of education that we deliver must be at the level to which we're preparing children for life, not for an education, where we are preparing children for life, then this is what is required.
I can appreciate all that. I can certainly appreciate all that. And the fervor by which you still speak speaks to your dedication. Do you find this is not putting you on the spot? Many persons with your approach today, you're saying what they ought to have, the attributes they ought to have. But can you say, on one hand, this person exemplifies that, this person, and they're doing so with distinction?
I would tell you this, clear and upfront. Through every school year, we are seeing less and less of that.
In terms of the results from the exams, etc.
Because the point
forms of the children.
No, a lot of people are still passing lots of exams. But this is interesting. And this was my approach. If 200 students come in Form 1, how many actually write 60? Analyze it. And you would see that a number of our children are leaving high school
Without.
No, they are not fully prepared for life.
Especially in today's environment where it's so
Of
interchangeable.
course, they are not prepared for life. And see what we are having. And we have a tendency. I listen to your program and all the calling programs. We have a tendency to evaluate everything looking through the political lens.
That prism.
Everything. And as a result of that, many of the problems are not solved because many of the problems, even though they may have some political connection, they can be solved outside of that realm.
I hear what you said, but in terms of, and I'm going to put this in my program, I am at pains not to embrace anything political. Even when I get calls, I am the diplomat.
Okay.
I don't want to entertain that rancor that goes back and forth. I try to avoid that.
Very much
I've
so.
been accused of that, but I do not entertain the back and forth, the rancor. It's not productive.
It's not productive.
This program, this level of discourse, I'd rather have.
Of course.
Because the person who are listening and learns from it, they will not be turned off from this level of discourse. But the back and forth and who this and who that and this and that, Socrates ain't doing that. So I really appreciate this level of
So, but
discourse.
to be honest with you again, let's look at it. We have, I must say we, have the tendency to, or we wish to, solve problems. But problems are only solved when they're properly identified.
That is correct.
And so if we put everything and paint everything with
Same
that
brush.
brush, then where the problem really lies
I don't know.
Right. So you're not getting anywhere. I am saying, and I said this without any contradiction. The teacher is the most important in my book. Now, you could tell me about it, but the teacher is the most important person after the parents in a child's life.
I can't contradict that. That's my belief.
Well, okay, but there's some person might even tell you.
I said earlier, in my day, still in my estimation, the church, the school, and the home was one entity.
One entity.
I do tours. I tell my guests that's how we were raised.
And that's where we moved away from. And so when we want to solve a lot of our problems, let's go back there.
But here's what happened. We adopt policies from overseas that do not work there and bring here because we have signed on to certain conventions. We have to pause now for a word from our sponsors because it's true. We signed into conventions about how we raise our children, what's acceptable, and all that. We go downtown to pay tribute to Caesar, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Flow Road to Home is life made simple. One affordable plan that gives you internet at home and mobile on the go. Constant connection anywhere and everywhere, wherever your plans may take you. Switch today and get double the data on your mobile with 60 gigs plus unlimited WhatsApp and YouTube and 400 megabits per second internet speed. Flow Road to Home internet and mobile plan. Your non-stop connection. Visit a Flow store or discoverflow.co for more info. Conditions apply.
TDC for service, TDC for quality. TDC your company, TDC for service, TDC for quality. TDC your company. Together we succeed, building a strong community, pressing onward to our destiny. One love, one family, together we succeed. Let the whole world see. Yes, this is 50.
Of them drink Campari. Link up your girl with the Campari. Day or night with your Campari. Mix the pineapple, you can't run party. Campari, respect the bitter. Must be 18 years or older to drink responsibly.
Okay, we're back on Voices, and about this time, we're going to open up the phone lines for the public and Wayne on the discussion we've been having so far with Mr. Will and Vaughn. I know some of you are anxious to get in, and the phone lines, we go straight to the phone lines as we speak. Good morning, caller. You're live on Voices.
Yeah, good morning, gentlemen. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we're splendid. Right? Mr. Vaughn, how are you
I'm
doing?
very well.
I just wanted to make a small contribution. I noticed, right? No one is calling in. Are the lines open? Because
They are not open now.
Yeah, okay. My observation is that people, this type of chatter is not that popular. People don't want to hear this type of stuff. But it's important to put this out, no matter what, because of where society is right now. But I wanted to ask you, is there any way you can have your guests, address the crime situation, since that you're talking about this type of issues or whatever?
He can hear you loud and clear, so direct your question to him. So this is Mr. Vaughn.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
I want to get his take on, what he thinks about the society there in the Federation, in terms of the crime situation and what the community has to do to get the Federation back to where we need to be. And then another question that I wanted to ask is, I noticed that a lot of talk has just been about the peace program. And is there any other social programs or any other mentoring programs for the youths that should be spoken of instead of just people just talking about the peace program all the time? That program is having a lot of debate. So I'm asking to you both, You know, why is just that one program be talked about all the time? Is it because of the money that's involved in that program? And, you know, there's a lot of work to be done in terms of mentorship for the youths, and we need more people in the community to input, you know, not just the government alone. We need to have, like, people that, you know, to have, like, programs for the youths. There's a lot of other social programs that was there before that was, like, you know, they moved away from those programs. Then we can have people in the community start, you know, going back to those programs, like the Boy Scouts and those type of programs, even sports and all of that type of stuff. You know, there was more participation back in the days in those programs. But when that peace program came along and there was so much money involved, you know, everybody just gravitated to that one program only. I mean, I just wanted to get you guys' take on that.
I see your point.
And keep up the good works, man, and keep up the good works, and, you know, great conversation, man.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir, family. Mr. Vaughn, mic is yours.
Yes. Yes. As I said to you when we started, I listened to all of the calling programs.
Yes, you did.
And and this is one of the things that, as I said to you, we have a problem. We have a problem in our country. The crime situation is a problem. It's a country problem. How do we address it? This has always been my approach. It's best to train a horse inside the stable. If the horse is already outside on the pasture running around, you can't get the chain out there.
Quite so.
So, where do we have these proverbial horses? At home.
At home initially.
And then the school.
Correct.
We have them, right, we have them there. We allow them to leave our care and go into the society now where it's a wide field. And now asking the police to bring some discipline to the court on these persons.
But yet we are not unique with that problem.
We know that.
St. Lucia, Antigua,
because
Costa region.
Because
so what informs that?
Because we are doing the very same thing and expect to get a different result.
We have a call on the line. Welcome to Voices, guys. You're live on Voices.
Let me turn down this radio here, man. Sorry. Yeah, good morning, Mr. Vaughn and the King.
Yeah, Humble 7.
Good morning, good morning.
Yeah, now I have a question. As you were talking about education. Suppose you have a class, you are teaching a class with 30 students, and Socrates and myself are students in that class, and both of us are misbehaving, distracting the others who want to learn. And you, the teacher, cannot get me and Socrates to comply with the warning and the teaching that you are giving as the teacher. Then there comes the head teacher, the principal. Then I think the principal should take me and Socrates back into the class in front of you and all the other students and give us the warning, the lectures, what is expected of us. And if we would not comply, then therefore we do not want to learn anything, any academical learning. So then find a skill to put us in. That's something that we are interested in and we can do. But I do not believe in beating a child in school. Leave the beating to the parents at home. And I can tell you why I don't believe in it. I am a very dunce mumu child. And when I was going to school up the village, there was a lady who was the head teacher. And she never walked without a big, heavy letter over her shoulder. And one day in the class, the teacher gave us 20 spellings. And she said, anybody get under 18 must go up to the headmaster. I just barely escaped it because I get 18. And more than 3/4 of the class went to the teacher for licks. And I was the last one to go up because she wasn't afraid to hit. And she banged you hard. And because I was afraid of licks, I ran away from school for a whole month. But it's a good thing my brains were quick to learn. So I wasn't too far back when I went back. And because of the licks, that is why I run away. So I don't believe teachers should be beating children. Leave the licks to the parents or the principal will say what to do.
It's possible that I could take you on?
Yeah.
Okay, listen to this. We take one or couple bad experiences and put it in the barrel with everything else and think that because you had that bad or unfortunate experience, that is how it should be.
That should define the program.
No. My friend, let me tell you this.
Yeah.
I was explaining to Socrates a while ago that every child, okay, let me put it this way. When a child leaves home and comes to school, he's not only bringing his books that are in his bag, he's bringing a level of behavior with him.
Oh.
So when he gets to school, that behavior is with him.
Yes.
Now, if that behavior is not in agreement with what the school require, then the school would have to do something about it. Otherwise, then you, as the parent, hold the child at home.
Okay.
So
That's
if
what-
your child come into my environment, I make it clear that when the child puts on that uniform and leave your home and exit your gate, that child is mine until he comes back into that gate.
And
So,
could I interject
so
here?
it's not only, wait, let me finish this. So let me tell you this. So I'm not there to ill-treat any child.
I agree with that. Could I interject now?
Yeah, let me say this
Okay.
about what
Go
you
ahead,
said.
go ahead.
Now, what you said that you got punished for was unfortunate. No child should be flogged for that.
Definitely.
That is far gone, and that is why children, after leaving school, and they meet me, and they hug me and tell me, thank you, Mr. Vaughn. I know you beat me in school, but I understand why now.
Yes. Now, what I think should be done, instead of the principal going to the home of me and Socrates, they could invite our parents to the school, and our parents would talk to us in front of our class and the principal. And from there, the parents would know what decision to take with their own child.
Mr. Caller, let me tell you this.
Yes.
Many, I'm talking about when I was at the school, many parents couldn't go with the children.
I know that.
And so you calling them there sometimes don't even help.
They don't even show about the PTA.
And sometimes the parents is the cause of these children's behavior.
A lot of times.
So then how do you solve that?
Well, you see, they come from the home where the parents deliver them. And so therefore the parents now have to go back to where they make the first mistake and letting the child have his own way. Thank you, sir. I listen up here for the
All right, thank you. But thanks for your call.
We got about, let's see what my thing says. We got about 5 minutes before we hit the midday news break hour. The lines are still open if you wish to get in on the conversation. 662-0989, 466-0989. That whole issue of abuse and discipline I speak about. But let's go back to the phone lines. Call your live on voices. No call there? All right. I joked with my guest when I'm doing the tour. In your culture, you have what you call timeout? Mm-hmm. Yeah. We have what you call knockout.
No,
I'll explain.
But Socrates, what happened in many cases, and you listen to persons who have been to school, many children are punished. And
Let's stick there and take this call on board. Call your live on voices.
Hey, good morning.
I expect a call from you. Good morning, Sister Henry.
Good morning, Mrs. Henry.
Oh, yes, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. As a matter of fact, Miss Henry taught with us at Basti High.
Yeah, man, I remember you, you know. Remember, tall and slim. And, you know, are you people talking about all children in high classes doing the thing? That's not true. Because I remember 6 farmers. There was this kind of in-law where he was in 6th farm from Spratt Street, Hanley. Wensford. Remember Wensford?
Was it from Sandy Point?
No, Wensford Hanley from Spratt Street.
There's a Westwood Hanley from Sandy Point.
Yeah, he did carpentry. He made a lovely table which he gave me.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, I remember the days at Bassey High School and the good times we had. And it took a lot to hang on in there, you know, and to show concern. You know, I recall being promoted with with the children. I was assigned as class teacher, homeroom teacher for 3G13. I don't know if you were there at the time. I went to Bassey High 78 and I left 82 to go UE. And because junior high was overcrowded, so they sent out a lot more children. And the discrimination of some teachers, they're not going to teach them, they ain't going up there. You know? I had to be in conflict with some of them, said, you must go. And when they moved them to Fort Farm, they promoted me along with the children. So you say, Miss Henry children, but a lot of them lack love, you know?
Oh, yes.
You say, Miss Henry, how you get to teach them maths? I say, it's how you treat them. It's how you treat them. If you feel that they can't do anything, they're not going to even make the effort. They won't make the effort. You know, so I commend all the teachers who stick with it. Some of them come in from the first thing. After that, they go and they can't handle it. And as you said, some parents encourage the children.
They're part of the problem.
Disrespect. So that they feel that they're right and they come up by the school and they carry on, you know?
But, Miss Henry, if you as a parent is ill-disciplined, how could you teach a
Influence
child?
your child.
The children learn what they see, you know.
Yeah.
So, and then they're going to bring it wherever they go. I said, if they go to church, they're going to take it. If they jump on a plane, they're going to carry it with them.
Sometimes they're not even aware of what they're doing. I recall sometimes when they misbehave, I would say, I want to have a talk with you at break time, right? I said, why are you going to? He said, you know, it's my mother, you know what I mean?
Right. When you get to the
And
root of the
sometimes people
matter.
are not aware of it, that sometimes these children have problems.
When you get to the root of the matter, you realize the problem is not in school.
Sister Henry, Mr.
Hello?
Vaughn, yes, Mr. Vaughn has agreed to stay with us beyond the news time.
That's good, that's good.
We are about to break for the midday newscast, so we would love to
Go
have
right
you
ahead and
continue, right?
break.
Beautiful. At this point
All
in
right
time,
then, Mr. Have a good day.
same day.
All right, thanks for
I
your
want to
call.
thank all of you listeners who stayed with us with the first half of Voice this morning. At this point in time, we break for the midday newscast, and we will be right back with Mr. Vaughn after.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoy the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Dalil Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
A conversation ensued on local talk shows in recent days about the prospects of individuals other than politicians becoming national heroes. On Monday, June 26, host of WINNFM's Voices program, Socrates, shared with the public a recommendation from former Antiguan Calypsonian King Progress that Navisians and Kittitians make a united plea for King Elimat and Kim Collins to be honored as national heroes. King Elimat, officially known as Elston Nero, is considered to be one of the Caribbean's most gifted and celebrated musical icons, whilst Kim Collins is viewed as one of the Caribbean's most successful track and field athletes. Carl Brown, a frequent caller to the Federation's talk shows, gave his candid opinion on the matter. He lamented that the call for King Elimat, Kim Collins, and also Elkemedo Willett to be national heroes had been made for many years, but the men are yet to receive the honors.
That's been a debate we have been having since the Labour government was in under Dr. Denzel Douglas for 20 years. We have been having that debate for 7 years under Timothy as Prime Minister, the unity government.
Yes.
And here this talk come up again. Dr. Drew leading another Labour Party again. And it is long overdue and overbearing. Kim Collins, we have debated these and talk shows for many, many years now that Kim Collins and Elimat should be national heroes. Right? It should not just be politicians. These people have done tremendous advertisement, tremendous contribution to the Federation of St. Kitts and the world over.
Okay.
It's not just St. Kitts Nevis they have contributed to the world over. We all know, those of us who are old enough, to all the nation and countries and things about the world where Elimat and the GI's brass had made St. Kitts proud and beat up some of the best.
On Monday's Issues program on Freedom FM, Carl Brown expressed why the first Leeward Islander to play for the West Indies, Mr. Elkemedo Willett, should become a national hero.
Because, he paved the way for all the other youngsters here in St. Kitts Nevis. And the little honors that they have awarded in is not enough, EK. It's not enough at all for what that man in Nevis Media Willis has done.
In the case of Kim Collins, Brown said age should not be a factor when choosing a national hero.
Many years ago when we brought it up, they said Kim Collins was too young. So I hope now that won't be the argument, because I don't think national hero, once you have made your contribution, should have any age on it.
Brown pleaded with Dr. Terence Drew, Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, to ensure that Willett, Collins and Elimat receive the highest honor of the land during his tenure in office. He said the 2023 celebrations of independence and National Heroes Day is the ideal time.
And now under Dr. Drew, as the leader and Prime Minister of the Labour Party, we are suggesting that you please, before all your term end, please to honor these three honorable gentlemen as national heroes. We don't want to hear no more politicians. We have other people in the constituencies, in the country, in the federation, that have done just as much and even more than these politicians to be honored as national hero. Other people will have other people, because there are other people who deserve it too. But I think these three prime candidates should be honored first now as national hero.
Considering who has been recognized as national heroes in St. Kitts and Nevis thus far, the perception by some people in the Federation is that the likely candidates to be designated the Order of National Hero will be politicians. However, in Section 9.2 of the National Honours Act of St. Kitts and Nevis, it states, quote, "The Order of National Hero may be awarded to any citizen of St. Christopher and Nevis who has rendered distinguished and outstanding service to the nation," end quote. The National Honours Act was established in 1996 by the Federal Parliament of St. Kitts and Nevis. The three categories of awards under the National Honours Act are the Order of National Hero, the Companion of the Star of Merit, and the Medal of Honor. As it relates to the process by which individuals are selected for the award, persons are invited to submit nominations to the Ministry of National Security. The nominations would be reviewed by the National Honours Awards Committee. Recommendations would then be provided by the committee to the Prime Minister with the consent of the nominee. Then the Governor General would give the approval, acting upon the advice of the Prime Minister. The first Premier of St. Kitts, Nevis and Anguilla, Sir Robert Llewellyn Bratcher, became the first national hero in 1998. In 2004, the second Premier and first Chief Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Sir Caleb Azariah Paul Southwell, and Sir Joseph Nathaniel France, a politician and trade union leader, were awarded with the status of national heroes. Sir Simeon Daniel, first Premier of Nevis, and Sir Kennedy Simmons, first Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, were named as national heroes in 2013 and 2015 respectively. The 25th National Heroes Day will be celebrated on September 16, 2023, followed by the 40th St. Kitts and Nevis Independence Celebration on September 19, 2023.
This is the Carib Update News Service. I am Wendy Chateau reporting tributes to the late Barbados Prime Minister. This is the big story we're tracking this hour. Details of this story and more straight ahead. Now for the details, Barbados' Prime Minister Mia Mottley, who is today in China, has paid tribute to now late Barbadian leader Erskine Sandiford, who passed away Monday at the age of 86. Mottley described him as a through and through gentleman of post-independence Barbadian politics. She also described him as a genuine and dedicated regionalist who, as Prime Minister, signed the Grandance Declaration that eventually led to the establishment of the single market and economy. Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt also called him a devout regionalist. In remembering him, Prime Minister Skerritt said Sandiford had also been a source of encouragement to him as a young leader. Barbadian political scientist Peter Wickham has also been speaking to us about the late Barbadian leader.
It's important to recall that he had a fairly important impact on Barbados' politics and also the development. He was responsible for the construction of a major conference center, which now carries his name. The Barbados Community College, as I said, was also his brainchild. At the regional level, he came up with this idea that we should have a Caribbean association, an association of Caribbean community parliamentarians, which sadly never saw the light of day, but it was one of these inspirational ideas that he came up with. And there's several other small things which he would have done, and big things, which essentially would have left his mark. The economic policy that he pursued of structural adjustment, I would say that he has been vindicated in subsequent years, because it is argued that the model that he followed, which is a model to essentially cut back and then seek substantial finance in the wake of that, is a similar model to what Prime Minister Mia Mottley is following today. So one could argue that his economics has been vindicated, and his politics, although controversial, is one that has left a lasting mark on Barbados. So whether it is his students that he would have taught politics, or those he led in the Democratic Labour Party, or indeed the country of Barbados, there's considerable mourning across the country that we have lost our oldest former Prime Minister in the shape of Sir Loydas Kizat.
Haiti's Prime Minister Dr. Ariel Henry says he's confident that a robust security intervention force is not far away, as the French-speaking CARICOM country continues to call for support to deal with criminal gangs and others engaged in activities affecting the future socio-economic development of the country. Henry returned from France on Sunday, where he attended the Global Summit for a new Global Financial Pact last week at the invitation of French President Emmanuel Macron. Speaking at a news conference at the diplomatic lounge of Toussaint Louverture International Airport, Henry said he held discussions with several international leaders in Paris, and that it provided an opportunity for him to explain the situation of the country and the challenges it faces. The Bahamas will postpone the cruise head tax hikes until January instead of this July, according to local reports. Deputy Prime Minister Tourism Minister Chester Cooper on Thursday told Bahamas media, including Eyewitness News, of the delayed implementation. The 6-month reprieve follows Cooper's meeting with the cruise industry in Miami and conversations between the government and the Florida Caribbean Cruise Association. This is Newsbreak from the Carib Update News Service. In more news, West Indies, once back-to-back Cricket World Cup champions, are on the brink of missing out on the next tournament after 2 successive flops in the current qualifying tournament in Zimbabwe. The last on Monday against the Netherlands appeared to hurt so much across the region that it moved at least one Prime Minister to take to social media about it. Trinidad's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley wrote on Facebook, and we quote, "Today I saw the worst cricket match ever played by a West Indies team," unquote. He said further, "This amateurish, demoralizing embarrassment has to stop. Playing for West Indies requires a desire to fight, to believe, to win. To saunter through to defeat is unacceptable." Rowley went on to say that playing for West Indies must be a treasured privilege available only to the best that are prepared to show character in defense of our legacy and our pride. Those to whom these truths mean nothing must not be allowed out in the West Indies colours, unquote. Rowley was referring to the game between the West Indies and the Netherlands on Monday. Teja Nida Manuru defied Nicholas Pooran's 100 with a scintillating one of his own, while man of the match Logan van Beek produced a fearless all-round effort as Netherlands stunned West Indies in a dramatic super over to leave the Caribbean side's World Cup hopes hanging by a string. Tasked with overhauling 375 after the left-handed Pooran lashed a pulsating 65-ball unbeaten 104, the Netherlands staged a remarkable chase. The 28-year-old Nida Manuru top scoring with 111 off 76 balls, with 11 fours and 3 sixes to leave the scores tied in the Group A contest at Tagashtinga Sports Club. Van Beek, whose grandfather, Sammy Gullian, was born in Trinidad and played 5 tests for West Indies during the 1950s, then annihilated Jason Holder in the super over, plundering 30 runs courtesy of 3 sixes and 3 fours. The 32-year-old then returned to bowl the Dutch side super over, limiting West Indies to 8 runs from the first 3 balls before removing Johnson Charles and Romario Shepherd in successive deliveries to spark celebrations at the venue. This has been another edition of Newsbreak from the Carib Update News Service, the Caribbean's newsroom. I'm Wendy Chateau reporting.
An audio recording has emerged of Donald Trump allegedly handling papers and saying that they were highly classified. This was during a post-presidential interview. During that interview with an author who is working on a memoir of his former chief of staff, Mark Meadows, Mr. Trump is heard going through the papers and saying this is highly confidential. Earlier this month, he appeared at a federal court in Miami charged with 37 counts of illegally retaining classified documents and obstructing the government's efforts to get them back. He denies the charges. Let's take a listen to the audio recording now. It was obtained by CNN.
Isn't that incredible? Though? Yeah. I was just saying, because we were talking about it, and he said he wanted to attack Iran and what? These are the papers. This was done by the military, given to me. I think we can probably, right?
I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah, we'll have to try to
declassify.
Figure out yeah.
See, as president, I could have declassified
Yeah.
it. Now I can't, but this is
Yeah,
classified.
now we have a problem.
Isn't that interesting?
Well, CBS News correspondent Jared Hill gave me more details of what Donald Trump was actually saying in that recording.
On one side, there is not much more of this recording that at least CBS News has gotten a hold of yet. It's just about 2 or so minutes long, and in it you can hear former President Trump discussing what he calls some documents, some sort of papers that he says are confidential, that are secret information, that he could have classified, he says, when he was in the White House, but does not have the authority to do so now that he is not president. This comes from a conversation that he was having in 2021 with a couple of people at his golf course in New Jersey, Bedminster, New Jersey. Now, with all of this, again, going back to what we're seeing in this indictment in the case against him, there is a big question around what exactly the papers are that you hear rustling. If those papers, those documents are in fact the classified material that he is said to be, or at least have been in possession of, or if these are just other papers and he's talking generally about the information.
So just to be clear, Jared, this could be the same recording that prosecutors have used in their indictment of Mr. Trump.
Yeah, so it's believed that this likely is looking at the information in the indictment and what we're hearing in this audio, although the special counsel, the DOJ, has not yet commented on the release of this audio.
What has Mr. Trump had to say about this?
So he's put out a couple of truths on his social media platform about this one. Last night, one of them saying that the special counsel and the DOJ illegally leaked, as he says, the audio with this one, saying that this is an effort essentially to defame him, and that he'd not do anything wrong. Again, this morning he also says he's reiterating essentially that he didn't do anything wrong here. But again, there is that real question between whether he is admitting in this tape, in this audio, that he understood that he could have declassified these documents, this information, when he was in the White House and not after the fact, which has been an argument from him and his team all along.
And just briefly, Jared, what's happening now in terms of the trial?
Yeah, so the trial, as of now at least, is scheduled to start in August, mid-August, but just on Friday, the Department of Justice requested that that be pushed back until December so that Trump's legal team has the time to get security clearances to deal with these classified documents, this classified information. The judge is set to make a decision on that one, but we have not gotten a decision yet. So again, as of now at least, this is set to start in August.
Around the world and across the UK, this is BBC News.
Next, the Israeli government has advanced plans for some 5,700 new homes in the occupied West Bank, despite US pressure to stop settlement expansion, which it sees as an obstacle to peace with the Palestinians. A US spokesperson said Washington was deeply troubled by the development. 4 Israeli settlers were shot dead by Palestinians last week, prompting days of settler violence. Violence between Palestinians and Israelis has flared since Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was re-elected last year. Earlier, the UN Security Council met to discuss the issue.
The members of the Security Council encouraged additional steps to restore a durable calm and de-escalate tensions, and called on all parties to refrain from unilateral actions that further inflame tensions. They further urged for restraint to reduce tension and prevent further escalation.
Well, we're going to talk through this issue. Joining me now, Ambassador Gerald Fridson. He is a distinguished senior fellow on US diplomacy and the director of Arabian Peninsula Programme at the non-partisan think tank at the Middle East Institute, and previously served in the Obama administration. Thank you so much for coming on the programme.
It's a pleasure to be with you tonight.
So what do you make of these latest actions?
Well, I think that it's very troubling, as we heard in the Security Council, that although we got through the Ramadan period and the Eid al-Fitr afterwards, that there has been a steady increase in the violence on both sides, and that we look to be heading into a situation that is potentially quite explosive. So it's quite correct for the Biden administration to be very troubled by what they're seeing on the ground.
I'm very troubled by what they're seeing on the ground. What kind of actions, what kind of influence do you want them to exert?
Well, this is it's a problem for the administration, because I think that Joe Biden, as he's entering into a campaign period, is going to want to try to keep the situation in the Middle East and the Israeli-Palestinian context as quiet as possible. There is no good option for him, really. I think the administration is unlikely and unwilling to really exert a great deal of pressure on the Israeli government. And yet, really, nothing short of a great deal of pressure is going to make much difference in trying to bring the two sides closer together.
And how do you evaluate the role of Netanyahu here?
Well, I think that Netanyahu has made a deal with the devil. In his desperation to get back into the prime minister's seat, he has brought people into his government who are bomb throwers, who are interested in exacerbating tensions, who are interested in provocative actions. And we've seen it consistently. And Bibi Netanyahu has demonstrated no capacity whatsoever to really control his administration.
And, well, given that, then, I want to ask you to look ahead, look forward. Where do you see this?
Well, I think that, again, it's going to be extremely difficult for the Biden administration and the larger international community to keep the situation from spinning out of control. On the one hand, on the Palestinian side, you have very weak leadership and really not much ability to control a situation. On the Israeli side, again, you have a government that has demonstrated no willingness really to make the kinds of concessions and the kinds of steps that they would need in order to calm tensions. And I think that basically what we're going to be seeing over the next year and a half is really an effort to minimize tension and to mitigate whatever situation might arise. And it's going to be a tightrope that the Biden administration is going to have to walk.
Well, Ambassador, I'm scrabbling around here. There doesn't seem to be any chink of light. There doesn't seem to be anything that you can search for anyone in the international community or internally to seize on and work with here.
Well, it's I don't mean to ruin your evening, but but I think it's a very serious situation, and you know, it is going to press the Biden administration to be to take a harder line with the Netanyahu government, but they're really not going to want to do that because of the domestic political implications that might arise, and they don't want to open up themselves to criticism that they're being overly harsh on Jerusalem. So it's a hard situation, and Joe Biden is going to have to try to tap dance through this.
Well, very worrying and concerning, but we really appreciate your expertise in talking us through it. Ambassador, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
That was the WINNFM Headline News. The Headline News was brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Delisle Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Today's weather comes to the kind compliments of the Coal Pot.
Never before have you gotten a chance to choose exactly what you would like to eat. At the Coal Pot, you have that option. Choose the type of grain you prefer, either brown or basmati rice, quinoa, couscous, mashed breadfruit, or bulgur. Choose your protein. You can also choose your sauce preference to complement your protein, teriyaki, curry, barbecue, or tomato. We also have vegetarian and cheese pizzas, chickpea burgers made from scratch, veggie wraps, wedges, vegan banana bread, the largest variety of local juices, and our signature Coal Pot iced tea. I tell soup every Saturday. Get your order delivered at coalpottogo.com. The Coal Pot, located in Shadwell, nicely nestled in nature. Call us at 669-6005.
Today's weather will be partly cloudy with some cloudy spells with a 70% or high chance of showers and a 30% or slight chance of thunderstorms. Tonight will be partly cloudy to cloudy at times with a 60% or moderate chance of showers. Sunset today will be at 6:49 p.m. Sunrise tomorrow at 5:40 a.m. That's your weather forecast for today. Came to you with the kind compliments of the Coal Pot.
Never before have you gotten a chance to choose exactly what you would like to eat. At the Coal Pot, you have that option. Choose the type of grain you prefer, either brown or basmati rice, quinoa, couscous, mashed breadfruit, or bulgur. Choose your protein. You can also choose your sauce preference to complement your protein: teriyaki, curry, barbecue, or tomato. We also have vegetarian and cheese pizzas, chickpea burgers made from scratch, veggie wraps, wedges, vegan banana bread, the largest variety of local juices, and our signature cold pot iced tea. I tell soup every Saturday. Get your order delivered at coldpottogo.com. The Cold Pot, located in Shadwell, nicely nestled in nature. Call us at 669-6005.
Good afternoon to our viewers and listeners around the globe. We are back with Voices. My name is Socrates, and we have with us our special guest in studio, Mr. Vaughn, recent recipient of the Star of Merit, speaking about his journey into education, preparing folks for life experience. But first, we're gonna at the top of this give credit to our sponsors and then come back and get more into the detailed conversation. Thank you.
Let me use the bathroom. Make sure I don't do that, yeah?
All right. You know what it is.
Riddle this, riddle that. Horseman's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store is again giving away hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash back for free groceries with every hire purchase. Will be given back this coupon season. Happening now. Hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash back coupon to all our hire purchase customers this coupon season. Starting now until December 2023. You get absolutely free groceries with every hire purchase at our Horseman's Furniture and Appliances stores on St. Kitts Nevis and our Ashley Home Store on St. Kitts. So riddle this. Where can you get quality furniture and appliances at great prices with a flexible FlexPlay plan and with absolutely free groceries with every hire purchase? Riddle that. Cashback at Horseman's Furniture and Appliances on St. Kitts Nevis and our Ashley Home Store on St. Kitts. Riddle this, riddle that. Horseman's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store is giving you over $250,000 in cashback and a chance to win free groceries for a year. Riddle that cashback. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Yes, you're logged on to Voices. We want to send greetings out to Catherine Fabia up there in Canada, Mr. Valentine Monish, wherever you are. Want to wish you and yours the best of this beautiful Wednesday in Federation. Mr. Othniel Heiliger. By the way, Sister Henry, Mr. Heiliger stepped up yesterday and gave us a balance to conclude the payment for the shipment. It's somewhere in the tune of 500 and change. We had it covered yesterday, so I'm going to look at it and give you an accurate figure. But we would have met the threshold in terms of the money we need to raise. What's going on with my throat? I've not been eating salty, fatty, and sweet. I've been trying to stay away from those stuff. But yet I have a little issue. Anyway, we are back with Mr. Vaughn, and we want to continue in the discussion we had this morning. There was a question posed to you, sir, about the crime situation in St. Kitts. During a discussion this morning or in the earlier half. I don't know if you want to expound on that in the meantime. The phone lines are open, by the way. Okay, let's address this call first, sir, and then we'll take it from there. Call your live on Voices.
Greetings, King Sir, and thanks for taking the call, extending the greetings to your guests.
Respect.
Give thanks
Thank
for
you.
all the information and reasoning and sharing so far. Okay, we see several critical thinking and things like civics need to be added to the curriculum big time. And we need more African-centeredness. We are African people, you know. We really are, in spite of our present elusive nationalities. I call them elusive because they are not really, you know, what they ought to be. But we need more African-centeredness. So original African stories, when talking about from our enslavement up, deeper than that, because we are way, way before that. This kind of information need to come out in the school, in the curriculum at the early age, very early age. You know, but give thanks. Lots more we would like to say, but you know, people want to make their little input, so we leave it there and we give thanks for the information.
Always
once
value,
again, you know?
always value your input, your contributions. So you have a most wonderful day. The phone lines are open. If there are no calls pending, and they okay, Mr. Vaughan, the mic is yours.
All right. We can't close our eyes to the crime situation around us. As I said earlier, when we have a problem, the country has a problem. And we have to get to the root of the problem. But we have this habit of labeling everything along political lines. And it doesn't help us. The criminal situation happens to be a behavioral situation where some body or bodies, for whatever reason, were trained a certain way. And as a result of that training that they got, they exhibit it in the way they exhibited it. I often say this. A teacher must see a criminal before the police, or should see a criminal before the police. That child or that criminal that is now in the community committing the crime was once in school, because every child by law must be in school.
That's correct.
So either in kindergarten, grade 1, grade 2, or preschool, you would have seen the behavior. We dropped the ball. Between home, school, and now the church has become under attack. So no longer with the freedom of religion, what religion does that child supposed to be carrying on? Because Christianity cannot be now taught in school, because the students who are coming there, maybe from other connections, if you don't want to call it religions, some not at all, have no alignment to any connections or religious movements. Some may have their own personal arrangement in terms of religion. So what do I teach? The caller just before that said we must focus on going back to Africa and so on. I have nothing wrong with that. That's your view of solving the problem, that we need to find our identity. And if our identity is going back to Africa and finding our identity there, well, that's good, because we taught African history to whatever level it is taught. But we still, even though we teach it, we are still going to have that level of criminality if the behavioral issue is not addressed. And one of the best place to address it is within the home, the school.
Okay.
And now the church is out of the picture. So
let's
he
see
had to
what
be
this
home in
caller have
school.
to say, Mr. Vaughn. We have a caller
Okay.
on the line. Caller, welcome to the program. You're live on Voices.
Good afternoon, the King.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Not too bad. And good afternoon to
Mr. Vaughn.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes, good afternoon, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Now, I hear listening to the program, and this is one of the best program, I think, for the year.
Impressed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, this is one of the best program I listen to because it's about education, and it's about children. And this is the time that we, as parents, especially some of these young parents, some of them don't learn much in school. So they don't care if the children learn or not. And I see it every day. I see shower children on the road late at night. Them was supposed to be home doing some kind of homework or something. You know? And this the problem we have with our young people. Because we got too much young mothers, young fathers, and they don't care about the children them. That's why we're getting all of this, you know. I see it every day for myself. And the next thing again, when I used to go to school, can't do the culture, I was disgusting in school. Sometimes I ain't paying attention. And one day the teacher beat me. That's about 14, 15 years. The head teacher beat me, give me some blows. And I went home and I complained to my parents them. And we had animal. We had ground, we was do ground farming. And you know my father tell me though, since you ain't going to school and you want to be in school, go learn something. He sent me in the construction, go learn a trade. And there's where I work, I learn something, and even my own house where I here now, I partly do my own house, fix it over. Only a good carpenter I got to help me put on my roof. And if a lot of these young men and women who stop out of school with nothing, I believe that they could follow themselves with something, but you left to the parents them. The teachers them can't hear Mr. Thing. The teachers them control when in the school. Because when you're in the school, you're in your home. Eh? You got a lot of hours. Some of the parents them do see the children them. The teacher them see them man the parents them, and the teacher pay more attention to them man the children them. So I believe
Mr.
that
Politics.
Hello.
Are you saying that one incident where you were beaten by the teacher was the reason why you left school?
Well, that is why. And my father tell me too much complaint about me.
Oh, there were many complaints, so it wasn't the one incident.
You better go look something to do.
So your advice to the current stock of students is what?
The young people them?
Yesterday, the current stock of students. You left because there were complaints and you got disciplined and you left school. What would you advise our young people today?
Well, me advise the young people them today to pay attention to the teacher, to learn something, and if they slow, and they can't make it, because everybody can't make it up there economically in education or whatever you want.
Academically.
And if they could learn a trade, I tell them all the time, you could go into the construction, learn mechanic, go look with the mechanic and learn something.
Okay.
Only so we're going to the less fortunate young people who ain't learn much in school. Only so we're going to get them to do something, because if they ain't learn a trade and have nothing to do, they're going to they're in the wilderness doing all kind of wrong things, using drugs, doing all kind of things.
Do you think this step program is the alternative?
Well, the step program ain't too bad. But what happened that I believe the step program was designed to train the young man and woman, you know.
Correct.
It was designed. There was none of step. There is supposed to be a step all the time. He designed to train them. Because look at the king. Look at how most young women. Look where they be. And it look like they want to stay there for life. And the step. I have no problem cutting grass. I have no problem cutting bush.
But that doesn't teach you skill.
Advance yourself, man. Advance yourself. Even go back to the AVEC. Because some of them young go back to the AVEC and learn something and learn a trade. Go in the hotel. And you tell them so all the time.
Okay.
You understand?
We appreciate that. We appreciate your contribution.
Learn something. Hello?
I say we thank you for your call and your contribution.
Yeah, okay, man. Yeah.
All right, so Mr. Vaughn, you can respond to that.
You see, the problem is, when you're learning a trade, the monetary,
Like a stipend.
right? Our young people want to get rich tomorrow. As a matter of fact, they want to get rich today. So you don't realize that in learning a trade, the possibility is that you'll be at the lowest scale.
You would have missed your first opportunity, which was go to school for free.
Right.
So the secondary step, if you want to readdress or change your trajectory, is to go and learn a skill set.
Right.
That takes time. You're not going to get the top dollar.
Right.
But you are the one responsible for that because it was an opportunity.
They want a quick dollar. So I come to you, Socrates, and I say, could you push this Coke for me? You could hold this week. So the fellow who was in college, but it doesn't make sense going to college, go learn the trade. When I could just get this money in a quick time.
That's true in some cases, but I refuse to say it's the same across the board. And we have to be careful something how we label our young people because many of them are very positively inclined.
Yeah, but
so we have to distinguish some of them.
No, I'm still at the criminal situation.
Okay.
So that's why I'm labeling that within the context of crime.
Within the context of okay.
Okay? Let me tell you, there's a saying, a hurting man hurt others. A hurting boy will become a hurting man if that hurt is not addressed.
Mm-hmm.
So what we have a lot of the times with the criminal, because remember I'm telling you, I'm addressing that now, is that a lot of our boys are hurting, but they're too mature to say it.
So they internalize.
Right.
And lash out.
Because if you know that you're hurt, as a matter of fact, if I say, bring your father, I'm at the school, I'm the principal, I say, I don't want to see your mother, I want to see your father. 80% of them don't really have a father to bring.
Or father figure.
Or father figure, or whatever the situation, a male figure then.
Mm-hmm.
Because every time, in my experience, I get more results from boys, in particular, who are not behaving in school, if the father comes. As a matter of fact, sometimes I have to hold the father.
Okay.
The father inside there could get me in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't got no more problem again because I say, boy, don't let me call your father again.
Understood.
You understand me? But a lot of the boys are hurting because whatever the situation may be, fathers play a very small role in their life. And so the mother is left with these children and they have this anger. I remember a student said to me one time that he don't kill his father.
Sad.
Yeah, because the father was beating up on the mother.
Oh.
And he's now 15 and he'll say, if you hit her again,
mm-hmm.
what's going to happen? Only show you that hurt.
That anger is boiling up in he will lash out at inappropriate time.
Inappropriate time.
Yeah.
And now, I left school. I leave the home where I am because I'm not hanging with the guys. Because they don't talk about gang, you know.
Peer pressure.
Gang is only a peer group, you know,
mm-hmm.
turn violent. That's all a gang is. You could have a peer group doing positive things. Mm-hmm. That's not a gang. A gang is a group of young men who are doing social negative things. And so these are the guys who form gangs because when Socrates slapped me in school, I have no father to bring. Because if I bring my mother, it means a week. A woman you bring. So you got to bring a man figure. And when that man figure come, everybody listen. I've had some situations that tell you, you would put strills on your back, because when your father come, he said, Mr. Vaughn, don't worry, I'm not doing nothing in your school, but if they hit my child again and I see a match come out, he said,
Wow.
he said, if you hit my child again, so that child walk free. You understand me?
Yeah.
Because there's a father to defend. Okay? To defend that child. So these are some of the things that bring about this crime situation, because hurting boys who are hurting form themselves in groups that they feel that would aid them with their hurt, and now they get into this criminal activity.
I was at Keon High School some months ago, I think it was last year. They were still morning devotion. Beyond that, are there any religious instruction in the school? Because you mentioned that they no longer teach the Bible in school because of the various religions. I don't buy that. I really can't go to Iraq and determine, well, must impose my Christianity there. So if we're a Christian nation or the region, how is it that we can no longer teach Christian principles in the classroom because other religions can be offended?
I normally say this. I might be teaching building science, but within my building science class, I'm teaching life.
Okay.
And I cannot teach life unless I teach Christ. That's me. So, if that teacher doesn't follow the same modus operandi, I don't mind. I don't know much about other religions, or if you say a fella is a Rasta or whatever, I don't know much about them.
But you say that is now a national policy that we can no longer. When did this come about?
Okay, but what I'm saying, I don't know much about what they teach. But if all of us, there are certain core things when it comes to discipline and discipline of the mind. There are certain core things that must be taught. I learned mine through going Sunday school and Sabbath school and those kind of things. That way I learned mine.
And you carry on throughout your life.
And I carried on throughout my life.
Yes.
No, I'm saying that I feel that because I was taught these things, and here where I am today.
I see the benefits of.
A benefit of.
You impart them to your students.
I impart them on to my students.
Yes.
No, they don't have to accept it. But this is what I'm telling you, I'm preparing you for life. And the reason why I live the quality of life I live today is because I practice these things.
Yes.
That's all I could do. However the others issues are presented, it sometimes, in my humble estimation, creates a conflict. Because I am teaching one thing, and you're going to say, no, you're teaching about something about Jesus Christ and something, and he's supposed to learn about Haile Selassie. I don't know, or he must learn about his heritage from Africa. I don't know, but whatever we are teaching, I'm hoping that we teach our children the basic things.
Basic fundamentals.
That will enable them to make a decent life. That's all I'm saying when it comes to that. Whatever religion you want to teach them, whatever, ensure that your teaching have encapsulated within it those things that will enable them to live a discipline and decent
the basic
life.
Moral and ethical principles, common courtesy.
Yeah, but as I said to you, I only could tell you about mine.
Yes.
Okay.
But you impart
right.
the life principles that made you who you are. You would have benefited, and I understand that is what we do for our students, the next generation.
Of course.
But this whole thing about not being able to teach Christianity because the other religion, well, I'm saying conflicting, that's something that we adopt from out there.
But what I'm saying, I had in my school morning devotion every time. And most of the times I took the morning assembly.
Mm-hmm.
I teach the concept or the beliefs of the Bible. The Bible is rich and a lot of other things. I feel whether or not you're Muslim or you are a Rasta or whatever your religion is.
You can relate.
There are certain basic things in there that you can relate to.
Yes.
Okay? You are your brother's keeper.
Do unto others the golden
Do
rule.
unto others, yeah, you are your brother's keeper. You treat people the way you want people to treat you.
Okay. Let's take
Okay.
this call. Well, want to call you. Well, sorry. Good afternoon. You're on Voices.
Hi, good afternoon, King.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm good and giving
Welcome to
thanks
the
for life.
program.
And yourself?
Not too bad for no man.
And good afternoon to you guys, Mr.
Yes, good
Vaughn.
afternoon. Good afternoon, sir. How are
Is
you?
you the Vaughn from the Keys area?
Of course. Keys, Basti High School. I spend most of my time there.
Yes,
but
I
live in
remember your
Keys.
mom.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Okay.
That woman
Yes.
helped to raise me to
Yes,
bring me where I am.
yes. She and my father, Mr. James. At
Oh,
very
okay,
good friend.
okay, yeah.
I'm one
Oh,
of the James, yes.
okay.
Brother and, yes.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Socrates, you asked a question a while ago, and it relates to why certain things of our moral upbringing in terms of a religious context is not being continued in these classes anymore. But considering we are a multicultural society, and when it comes to education, how can one differentiate education from indoctrination? We know that earlier, before the government took over that aspect of teaching, we were educated by the church, rather, was responsible for education, and it's so?
That is
Yes,
correct.
that's
Yes.
true. That's true.
Right. So how can we differentiate a genuine educational system from a system? Because in the church, let me go back a couple. Prior to the governmental system in terms of our education, the church did it. And it seems like, well, we were still a growing community. There wasn't so much multicultural facet. You know, we were predominantly, people who were just trying to assert ourselves. We saw the Bucklin uprising and so forth. And here comes, you're responsible for the spiritual aspect in terms of the dogma, teaching us, from the religious point of view. But you're also responsible for the educational, the vocational, or the vocational and the academic aspect of it, teaching us a trade, apart from the moral fabric. You're teaching us as a trade in terms of the apprenticeship of, going with certain builders, and so forth, and learning a trade so that you can ply your trade and earn some money. But how can one differentiate education from indoctrination?
Could I answer you? Could I answer you before you go on any further?
Yes.
Let's say I am a carpenter, right? Or joiner. I can build good kitchen cupboards, so you employ me to build some kitchen cupboards for you. But I'm dishonest. You give me your money as a deposit, and the kitchen cupboards are not done, but yet I'm asking for more money, and my whole work ethics, which is associated to my discipline, is out of whack. I didn't go there to teach you how to be honest. Huh? I went to teach you a trade, right?
Yeah.
But the quality of your work can be seriously disrupted because of your dishonesty. You may not get another job again. Because especially in a small country like this, where I've been dishonest to Socrates, and Socrates now going to tell everybody who come by him what I did and why the cupboards are here unfinished. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we have sometimes the skills and discipline and the in partaking knowledge, we don't understand that it must be done in a certain atmosphere that when that child would have left school and go out there, he'd take in much more than a skill and academic knowledge with him. You understand what I'm saying? No, you must get that inculcated or somewhere wedged into the delivery of the skill or education. Has to be. Otherwise, we're just sending out some people with a lot of paper out there in the world, but very little principles. It has to come somewhere. Somebody has to do it.
I think Africa, we were looking at they trying to rationalize the behavior, the change in behavior. Sorry, something wrong with my throat. Of our young people, and I was trying to link it to the discipline, the moral instruction, the religious instructions that we had when we were growing up. We're trying to see what causes shift in the behavioral patterns. You know, it's because they took those religious instructions out of school. You're saying that it was actually indoctrination versus... I understand that concept, but we're just trying to identify the causation of the shift in behavioral patterns of our young people.
And so therefore, caller, we threw out the baby with the water. I mean, proverbially. Because the indoctrination is coming, that is not correct. We didn't look at the discipline part of it. I might be teaching something that it may not be scripturally right. That's one part. But I might be teaching something else, like being honest and respectful, which has much more worth to the child than maybe tell him that your concept of Jesus Christ and Haile Selassie and whether you're from Africa or whether or not you're from St. Kitts or you're from China, and teaching these things, and we believe that those things are more valuable than honesty and respect.
Okay. Africa still there? All right, we do have to pause at this point to give credit to our sponsors of the program. So, okay, we continue until the engineer shows up.
So you understand what I'm saying? And so when we are
preparing,
I don't believe, honestly speaking, that you must have a subject name religious instructions.
There was that. What I understand.
Right. I don't believe you must have that. But I believe in teaching your maths or teaching your science or teaching your accounts. You can bring in a lot of that in there.
The ethics, the moral integrity, that must be part of your mindsets.
It's better to give than to receive.
Getting that during your formative years. You go with that, you leave school with that mindset, and you common courtesy, stuff like that.
Right.
You know.
Or you see a situation in your class. This is what I call a situation in your class. We call you have to stop teaching the woodwork, because I see a situation here that must be addressed in 5-10 minutes. Something that this child must not leave here with. I must bring it and I must deal with it right away.
Right away.
Okay, I call it a teachable moment.
All right.
Sometimes you have a teachable moment along that line, and I stop my class and I say, listen, we have to deal with this teachable moment here.
Got you. Okay, we continue on. We don't have a call on the line. The gentleman is not there. So, have we addressed all the questions that came in?
Yeah. I wanted to touch this one. The fear of God is the beginning of knowledge. I don't know your concept of God, whatever you prove your God to be. But I say if you have a fear for that God, My God is Jehovah. A fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. And any man who don't have that knowledge of God, there is no way. I don't care what education you give him or her. If you don't have that respect for a creator or maker, a redeemer, or whatever you would think or consider him or her or that person to be.
Can you substitute another word for fear?
Okay, reverence, respect, recognition. Fear there does not mean afraid of.
I won't say devil's advocate.
Yeah,
but I'm trying to get.
Yeah, you're right. You're correct. Yeah. You're correct, because some people might think that's what it means.
Okay.
But it really means reverence.
We have a call on the line. So, Mr. Vaughan, good day. Call your live on voices. We'll have missed a call. Hope we can. Okay, we have another call. Please call your live on voices. They left. Okay. All right. It's a good time to pause for a few words from our sponsors, and we'll be back. So, calling, if you can get in after, much appreciated.
Outside Summer Sale event on Hospital's Building and Navy Centers. Don't miss out on the Outside Summer Sale event happening now at Hospital's Building and Navy Centers. With summer officially here, we're offering great deals and discounts on a wide range of outdoor summer items. Take advantage of our 25% off on selected products throughout the month of June. Sale items include barbecue grills, coolers, pools, swimming accessories, veranda chairs, fans, portable and stationary AC units, and much more. We have a wide selection of outdoor summer items available at discounted prices. Visit Hospital's Building and Navy Centers to take advantage of our outside summer sales event happening now. Remember, selected outside summer items are 25% off. Enjoy the summer season with great deals on outside outdoor essentials. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Good afternoon once again. You're live on Voices. We have a caller on the line. So, caller, you're live on the program.
Yeah, good afternoon again.
Lovely having you back.
Good afternoon, Socrates. Good afternoon, Mr. Vaughan. And
Good afternoon.
To all of the listeners at home and abroad. I am glad people are listening. Now, there's a scripture that says, if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? Let me say it again. If the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do?
Perspective.
You know, we hear a lot of things. Oh, we must teach them African this and that and that. Nothing is wrong with that. But if in the effort to teach it, you destroy the foundation of Christianity, you have nothing to hold on to, because Christianity was in Africa. No. So a lot of our young people are also confused by other older people in the way they present information. They're not imparting to enlighten. It's more to confuse and to have the young people disenchanted. They don't know what to believe. You understand? And in terms of morality, sometimes the lifestyle of the people who propose in these things is nothing to be emulated. So the children are confused. Now, one thing I'm concerned about, since I was in Basel, I was supposed to argue about it, this thing of expelling and sending home children. We have a situation, even if you check CFBC, a lot of them going in the first year, and by the second year, half of them
will have dropped out?
Are sent home.
Are sent home?
Yes, they drop out. They say drop out, right?
Disencourage you.
Mm-hmm.
Drop out to do what? And we have children who are expelled from school, from third form and so. And to me, there is no follow-up. So we have in some families a whole generation of dropouts, usually the males. If you see that this is the situation in their homes, where the brother drop out, the uncle drop out, Shouldn't there be something put in place to try and help these children?
But who identifies
When
it?
you expel them, they have nowhere to go but on the sidewall. And then there are people with all kind of evil intent who manipulate the young people. You know, it bothers me. You're talking about the cohort. They're going in first form, and only about 80% of them reach fifth form. I mean, I know some effort was made with the past government to try and allow children who couldn't write 5 subjects to stay in school, because I always say, if you can't write 5, you can write 1. You could do them one at a time.
That is a thing I raised earlier about chapter 9 subjects.
You know, hello?
Mrs. Anyway, you're making a valid point
you want me to
there.
hang up so you could address the matter?
No, you can stand line. Let me tell you, we educate children as individuals. So that one belonged to Miss Henry, and this one belonged to the King Socrates. And this one belonged to Wayland. And that
Your
one
class,
over there.
class.
No.
Economic class, social class.
We have to educate the children of the nation because we all going to live together here.
That's true.
I used to tell my teachers at our staff meetings that these children, we're going to meet them again.
True.
And you don't know what the meeting going to be like.
You know?
And if you can't speak to them now, I don't know how to speak to them now. Later on, when
You
you're
don't
informed,
know. One
Not
might,
only speak,
one
I
might
tell
be
you,
working in the
remember I
bank,
said,
in the
right,
loans
remember I
department.
told you when I was at Barnsley High School, there were some teachers who felt they were too good and too bright to teach children in the law stream, you know.
Of course, because they were easier.
I am not
They were
teaching,
more
they
difficult
want
to
be
teach.
They're teaching all the ones, 1 to 3, and that's it.
Because they were easier to teach because their behavioral, the standard of their behavior at 1 and 2, it was much better than those down in 6 and 8. Yeah. And so therefore, teaching become easier for them. But they don't understand. Let me tell you something. My best students were always in the law stream. And even when we leave school, as a matter of fact, let me give you this. One time I was crossed by the bank waiting, and one of those same students, them difficult students from down there, rode across on a bike. And when he saw me, he said, "Oh, the boss. You know, they called me and he came back.
Yeah.
And he said, "Take this $5. Take this $5.
Yeah,
Okay? Take this $5. You buy them all." No, a lot of these students in the A1 class never give me $5 to buy them all.
No, I'm telling you.
They are more appreciative of what you could do for them at that level than those on the higher stream. So I always prefer those on the lower stream because
I mean, I thought a
they
whole
know
heap of them math
right.
man, and some of them were very good. But what? Oh, not them. And when time to write exam, I mean, once they're 16 and a half, they have to go home. I said, go home to do what? Because some of them are good in some of the subjects. They may not have 5, but they might have 2.
I don't know if you have another caller, but let me share this with
I'm going
you.
to hang up. Listen.
Okay. We had a situation where I said to staff one time when we're doing promotion discussion that I'm bringing back all my footballers. Now, some of these footballers, their behavior was not
the best.
But I'm working with them. And I tell them I'm bringing back my footballers. Oh, yeah. I said, why? I said, because I see what I can make out of them. If I send them home, I know they're not academic, but if they could come back and they could learn a little bit of English, they could express themselves when they go to play professional football or whatever. Then,
you're marrying the skills and you're enhancing the academia.
Yeah.
Not totally writing them off.
You know, a lot of those guys I brought back who really make up the national team thereafter.
There you go. You had the vision for that.
Some of these guys went Mexico where I never traveled and other parts of the world
That's
where I
because
never
you had
traveled.
the vision to identify. One of the questions was asking who identifies the troubled kids in the home. and brings them into attention for, who does that?
But that's very
you have to be informed how to deal with the issues in the home. You have to know what to look for, and you have to know who to take that to, that complaint.
Of course.
To. If you don't do that, you just shrug your shoulder and let them off.
Right. But you don't, and the point I'm making here, I strongly believe this. I don't know. But when I got to Bastille High, I got the impression that the people from Connery, I'm going to be honest, this is what I impression, I don't know if I was wrong, but they marginalize people from Connery.
I hear you.
Yeah. And really, if you're from Connery, there's nothing good could come out of you.
Wow.
Okay? I'm telling you.
This is something you recognize.
Yeah.
In the approach of the teacher.
Okay, right. But let me tell you this. You see, if Connery has a Premier Division team,
yes,
the majority of them came out of school football. Majority of them came out of school football. Till even I saw one the other day, he said he's coaching now.
Okay.
Now, how he's going to coach if he doesn't have the discipline to pass on to those persons now he's coaching?
First, to have someone to express the confidence in him.
Right.
That I know you can do it.
Of course.
You have to be an influencer, encouraging that person, and that is the role of a teacher. You must be multifaceted in identifying the problems of a
And
subject
the ground
deal with
is
them.
level. It doesn't matter where you come from. Whether you're from Newtown, Irishtown, Connery, wherever, the ground is level. Everybody must be given that fair chance to develop whatever talent. Remember, I tell you, school is about preparing you for life.
At the end of the day, wearing that star of merit distinction around your neck, how did it make you feel when you were called up and saying, Mr. Vaughn is receiving this because of his contribution to, how did it make you feel? That you would have done your job? Or you're grateful to be recognized for that distinction?
It keeps you humble.
Definitely.
To some extent. Because then you realize that I'm wearing this star, but I am not the only person who contributed to this star. And I always want to say this, and I must say this before this program is finished. When I consider somebody like Rita Cable, Mrs. Rita Cable, as principal at the time when I was deputy principal, she gave me the opportunity to perform the way I did. You know, some people protect the turf. I'm the principal, so you are limited in what you could do.
She gave you latitude.
Yeah. And we worked together as a team. Plus, the staff I had at Bastille High at the time. The staff, the support that I got from that staff. And listen to me, they're not afraid to criticize whatever I do. I did a lot of unorthodox things, and they're not afraid to criticize it and to tell me how they feel. And they are free to do that because they are the ones who send me home to think.
Has Ms. Cable received a similar distinction?
I am not certain.
Not sure.
I am not certain. But I'm telling you, is one of the greatest school administrator that I have, or work administrator that I have worked with. I mean, not saying that everything we all agree on at times.
Human situations,
right.
All about the end goal.
Good. But I could tell you, when we come out of that office, when we discuss what we had to discuss and we come out of that office and what we agree on, the staff don't know.
662-0989-466-0989. The lines are open. Anyone want to be part of the discussion? We got about, we have a caller to speak. Call, you're live on Voices. Got a caller, you're live on Voices.
Greetings.
With respect.
Proudly, let me move away from the tech. Okay, my brethren make a call and say something, that is very important. It's a very important observation concerning education and indoctrination, because we hear the reason about education, but we listen religion, and for this religious thing no make no sense.
like the fear of God. Why you should fear your creator who create you? Why? Why? And then again, there's another thing. Lead us not into temptation. God don't lead nobody into temptation. If people lead themselves into temptation. So it's a lot of things we have to really differentiate, and even if we don't want to turn the children into a heathen, so they must have a spiritual foundation, of course, a spiritual source. But a lot of things in this religious thing I hear the sound a while ago about confusing the people. That is what is confusing the people, the children and big people.
Can I involve?
Education.
Can I?
Keep it like that, and let me take away the religious thing out of it according to how the religious thing is.
Let me you talk for a minute.
Thing, it just seems like a lot of things were doing make sense.
Let me you talk for a minute on that, because let me you talk for a minute on what you just said, right?
Yes.
What I'm saying, we gotta be careful here, my brother. There's a difference between confusing and instructing in terms of instructional behavior. I mentioned about the fear of God. And what I mean, they not mean afraid of God. But wait, let me finish what I'm saying here.
Is still there.
Yeah, let me
heard your explanation.
Okay, good. But let me further.
Think that word fear ought to be inside there. Why you want to fear God? Why not remove that fear and put love inside you? Because when you see love make everything happen as it ought to happen, you know. Yeah. This fear thing, we call the other scripture again, is part of the Lord's fear. Lead us not into temptation. God don't lead people into temptation.
My caller.
People are led by their own thoughts and by their own whatever into whatever temptation. Not God ain't have nothing to do with it.
My caller.
Yes, my brother.
Here is where we have difficulty. Is that sometimes we major in minors. Sometimes we major in minors. Like, for example, we take a word and our words, and because they can have different meanings, because they have different meanings. But listen to me. Let me say this. I'm done now. Let me say this. At the end of the day, what do we want? A disciplined child, a confused child, or a disciplined child? Because do you know, every child that learns must be confused? Do you know every child, before knowledge can be imparted, that child must be confused? No, not confusion is a different thing. The mind of the child must be confused because the child is thinking.
Okay. Listen.
The child is thinking, and my aim is to make sure that my students think. Not me telling them. They must think and make decisions for themselves. What we have here is too many children are running with other people's ideas and can't think for themselves.
Can't think for themselves.
Yeah, and we must train our children to reason for themselves. Don't take what Mr. Vaughn say or what you say. Take what I say, you say, anybody else say, and learn to reason for yourself and come up with a proper understanding of where you want to go.
Situation, yeah.
I agree, but
what we want to shove things down children's throat.
Indoctrination ought not to
take away that free thinking from the children.
Good.
That is what my brethren was trying to imply.
Solid.
Indoctrination.
I think you're both on the same page.
Must not disallow the youth to have their free irids.
Right. But what I'm seeing is that we are pushing things down children's throat. For example, if I want that child to be a Rasta, if I want him to be a Rasta, then I must indoctrinate him too.
We're not hearing each other because we're cross-talking, and that's unfortunate because it's
Sorry
a good
about that.
discussion. And I think we're almost on the same page.
Who are pushing things down the children's throat? We who?
All of us.
All of us.
All of us. Those who want him to be, all of them, those who want him to be a Christian, those who want him to be a Christian, those who want him to be a Rasta, those who want him to be this, everybody feels that he should be that by indoctrination.
Rastafari, this real life. We reach the point where is example. Preaching of the gospel done. I don't have any Rastafari telling anybody in this time here, come, bear foolishness. We live in our live, and that is enough. Example.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, Eli X.
Love that.
We got to look to wrap up this program today, so we want to thank you again for your very spirited contribution, and you can hear me. Mr. Vaughan, we have about 3 minutes to wrap up today's program, if there's any caller coming then, but just let's go over what we discussed today. You have been awarded the Medal of Order of Merit for your contribution to education primarily. There was another section, was it?
No,
education, just education.
Yeah.
And that's why you're really here today. Now, you've really learned a lot. Our listeners would appreciate the insight you brought. If you want to wrap up, because you made some notes, you answered a few questions of the various callers. We spoke to the issue of discipline versus abuse, and your approach in education, in educating your students, preparing them for life. So if you can just hit that theme for the next 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Wrap up and then we go to go.
In wrapping up, permit me to say thank you as well to my siblings.
Yes.
But in particular, my sister Donna and Caroline and my brother Ines.
Are they all here? Or?
No, they lived overseas.
I hope they're listening.
Right, yeah. But I want to say, express my thanks, because I'm my mother and father last child.
Okay.
So they most of the times right. Mm-hmm. They help to set the tone in the house and sometimes when I couldn't get books and so on to go to school, they would chip in and so on. So that is where I'm telling you the support system that enables you
fundamentally crucial.
Right. To wear this medal around my neck. Mm-hmm. And my wife...
You wear it well too?
My wife, Lucine, as well, since she came into my life 3.5 years ago, have made a very impacting and her support system as well, and the way she supports me. So let me say thanks to them publicly, okay? And then in wrapping up now, I would say that we are not too far gone. There is hope. But again, I'm saying that we have to understand what true education does for a child. We must come to that, and we believe that education means, as one caller was saying, indoctrination. I don't indoctrinate a child to teach them maths and English and geography and history. But if a child going to the bank to work, what is history and geography has to do in the bank?
Understood.
But they are our disciplines. Everything one teaches is a step towards disciplining that child.
Preparing them for
life.
Okay.
And we need to understand that. So whether it is something of a religious nature or whatever, it aids in preparing that child for life.
Okay.
And we have lost that. And as a result of that, as the old people would say, no, the horses are running wild out there. And so we can't get them catch. We're sending the
Trying
police.
to close the bando after
Right.
the horse would have been.
Right.
Okay.
And so we're sending the police after them now. Because the home has failed, the school has failed, and the church failed long time. And so
Okay.
now the country is failing.
Yeah, I want to say we actually over time, but I've witnessed the same thing happening in neighboring islands. So it's not St. Kitts alone.
All of us.
So I've seen it in Antigua, in St. Lucia, Dominica, the complaints, the same
same
sentiment are being expressed from those countries about the current state of the youth. How can we address that? So it means that this thing has to be debated at a different level, maybe regional, and see where we can find common ground in terms of solution. We want to thank our viewers and listeners on the various platforms across the globe. You have been listening to another episode of Voices here on 98.9 WIN FM. My name is Socrates. My guest today, Mr. Waylon Vaughn. We want to thank you for participating. We wish you peace, love, and a much better tomorrow. And of course, we aim for a much safer society.
Thank you very much for having me
welcome,
here.
sir.